I was middle school, high school, and I played in about 40 games. And my dad only went to one of those games, and I always wondered, like, man, what is it? Am I not important enough? Like as a kid, you don't know how to process that. And he was a very busy medical doctor. So I remember like scoring a basket, and I'd look to the stands, and there's like no dad in the stands. You go, and I remember looking at another dad, just like loving on his kid after a good play, and I was like, man, I wish that was my dad. And that would have really crushed my dad because he was a good man, signed me up for that. And so he thought he had this long run ahead of him. But then, there's this phrase, God laughs at man's plans. He found out that he was diagnosed with cancer early in the year and given 6 to 9 months to live. And he actually lived about 10 months, but running up to the end of his life, a couple weeks prior, he gave me these words that essentially became the foundation of everything that I'm doing now. And he said, don't miss Leo's games. I missed too many of yours. And Leo's my son. Right after that, he was born, and and when he told me that, it hit me like a ton of bricks in a couple of ways. And then the second thing is, oh my goodness, I am my dad all over again. His career gave him monetary success, and I was doing the same thing. And so I realized, wow, I did not enjoy my dad being absent from those moments. So I don't want to do that to my son. That's kind of the thought that was running through my head. He was kind of an early walker, moving around, talking, communicating. Not super clear, but like his first attempts to. And I'm like blowing it all, like missing his firsts, and depending on my wife to take video and pictures so that I can actually be part of that at a distance, which is not the ideal place to be. So anyway, that was the first time that it was like lovingly implanted upon me that I can't keep going this way. And so again, 2015, my dad passes away a couple of weeks later, and his biggest regret now became my biggest mission in life. So like, remember my dad said, don't miss Leo's games. He literally said, don't miss his games, like be there. So that's one, never missed any of his games. But that also had another meaning, sort of like his way of saying, just don't miss out on his life. Just be there for him.
Yeah.
Like I often say, like when we're like, our deathbed or old age, like when we realize that the end is near, however that might be, hopefully we last a long time, and we're looking back, like nobody ever says, I'm so glad I blew your game off for that client meeting. I guarantee you at that time, we're not going to remember the name of that client, but we will remember, these games and these events, whether we were there or whether we weren't there.